I now call on the General Secretary to move the annual report. Thank you.
Good morning, delegates. As we gather here in Wexford for our annual Congress, let us be absolutely clear that the Teachers' Union of Ireland is not simply marking time or ticking boxes. In 2024, the TUI has stood firm, unyielding in its defence of the profession, relentless in its advocacy for our members, and uncompromising in its pursuit of a better, fairer education system. The annual report does more than summarise a year's work. It documents a year of dogged determination, engagement with government departments, key agencies, educational stakeholders, fellow unions and sectoral bodies. We have pursued with one singular purpose: to secure, protect and advance the rights and the conditions of those who teach, guide and inspire the next generation. But let's speak plainly. The Irish education system continues to suffer from chronic and deliberate underfunding, a legacy of austerity prolonged by political indifference. Time and again, investment in the future of the country has not been met. The future is built in our classrooms and in our lecture halls, and you, our members, have been asked to do more with less year after year. Yet you have delivered and continue to deliver with professionalism, with dignity, with resilience. The fact that the system has not collapsed is due to your extraordinary efforts. This excessive reliance on us, however, is not sustainable. It's not acceptable, and you can't tolerate it for much longer. Our current economic circumstances are no longer an excuse for paltry spending and pitiful investment. There is no justification for the continued neglect of our education system. What is needed now is decisive, transformative investment, which recognises the value of your work and the needs of our students. However, as we gather for Congress 2025, it's with a deep sense of awareness and duty, not only to our own profession and our members, but to a world in crisis. We cannot ignore the volatile and uncertain world that surrounds us. In just the past year, the scale and speed of the global upheaval has been staggering. Autocrats and oligarchs, unrestrained by democratic checks, have created unfathomable wealth, while millions are plunged into poverty. This is even happening in the wealthiest nations on earth. And perhaps nowhere is this more apparent than in the United States. The very idea that inclusive and publicly funded education is under threat in that country. The Department of Education is being dismantled by political forces that see equity and access to education not as virtues, but as obstacles. Colleges and universities are losing academic freedom, with books being banned, curricula censored, and educators silenced. What was unthinkable just a year ago is now becoming a reality. The rise of the far right and its influence on policy is not a passing trend, and is being deliberately coordinated in an effort to reshape society in a deeply regressive manner. And while democratic institutions crumble, the world's children continue to bear the cost of war and power-hungry politics. In Gaza, more than 14,000 children have been killed since October 2023. Thousands more are orphaned, displaced, or injured. Schools have been turned into shelters and then into rubble. Every bomb dropped on a hospital or a school is a grave violation of international law and a moral stain on our shared humanity. In Ukraine, the war grinds on into its third devastating year. Over 6 million people have fled the country, and inside its borders, hundreds of schools have been damaged or destroyed. Children are learning in bomb shelters. Teachers are risking their lives to deliver education to a shrill soundtrack of air raid sirens. The trauma of the war has become the new curriculum in too many places. The TUI, on behalf of our members, has taken tangible action in response to these humanitarian catastrophes, and we have made donations to UNICEF and other relief organizations such as the Red Cross and Education International. But aid is not enough. We continue to use our voice to demand peace, to call for immediate ceasefires, to call for humanitarian corridors, the restoration of basic human rights and of basic dignity. We condemn all forms of state-sponsored violence, occupation, and oppression, wherever that may occur. We must now stand more than ever, unite in our unwavering commitment to justice, fairness, and the protection of public education. Our fight is not just for better pay or working conditions, but those remain vital in a fight for truth and for inclusion and for the right of every child everywhere to learn in peace and safety. Our mission has never been clearer. As educators, we are defenders of hope. Last November, at the ETUCE conference in Montenegro, John McGowan, known to you all, former General Secretary of TUI, was elected President of the ETUCE for the next 5 years. ETUCE represents 11 million educators in some 63 countries in Europe. And never has that organization been more important. I'd like to congratulate John, and I know you share those congratulations to John, and I know we are all very proud of his achievement. John, in his role as ETUC President, will address Congress later. So just congratulations to John. And on a personal note, I was very proud to see a very small union reach the heights in Europe. Okay, what happens on our shores affects what happens on other shores affects what happens in Ireland. In 2024, we saw the Public Service Pay Agreement established a structured and incremental approach to salary increases for public sector workers over a 2.5-year period. Supported by an overwhelming majority of TUI members, the agreement combines a percentage-based increases with guaranteed minimum monetary amounts to ensure that all public servants benefit equitably. On the 1st of March 2025, the TUI members received 2% or €1,000 on every point of scale and on all allowances, whichever was greater. A further 1% will be paid on August the 1st, 2025, followed by additional increases in 2026. However, a significant element of this agreement is the local bargaining component, which offers the potential for salary increases up to 3%. However, this element is tied to productivity measures, something we have not faced for a long time, that have yet to be negotiated. This introduces a complexity and a risk for all of us. The timeline for local bargaining is within the agreement, and only the local bargaining units have been confirmed, and that was only this week. The negotiation period, theoretically, is supposed to conclude or be concluded between July 24 and June 2025, June, which is fastly approaching, for the first local bargaining payment of 1% to be due in September 2025, and the remaining 2% payable under future successive agreements. TUI endorsed this agreement, which was grounded in a clear-headed assessment of its benefits and the guarantees, scheduled increases that bring certainty to all our members, and built-in minimum monetary amounts ensuring fairness. However, it's essential that the productivity-linked increases under local bargaining do not become a Trojan horse for additional workload, work intensification, or unrealistic efficiency measures and demands. The message from TUI members is crystal clear. Any exchange of productivity for pay must not come at the cost of deterioration of our working conditions. In this context, let it also be clearly understood, if government were to renege on its commitment to the 2% local bargaining payment under a successor agreement, it cannot expect our members to deliver whatever productivity gratis. A clenched fist gets a closed hand. Some unions and the department may seek to trade broad productivity commitments for payments to specific subgroups of their membership. The TUI, feedback from TUI members has been unequivocal in this. We don't need that. We believe that it should be a full 3%. So we don't believe that that should be the case. Sorry, I'm just going to... Yeah, no. We in the TUI chose feedback from TUI members has been unequivalent, that any gains negotiated under local bargaining should be fair, equitable, and benefit all, not a selected few. We in the TUI choose the morally right thing to do under previous sectoral bargaining processes where second-level teachers decide to forgo their 1% in order to restore the value of the HDIP allowance to new entrants. Our message is clear. The TUI stands for solidarity, not selectivity. The restoration of the HDIP allowance to new entrants was a landmark moment for TUI, a direct result of TUI members' collective sacrifice and moral leadership. It wasn't the government that gave that money back, it was you. This was not a political fix. It was teachers solving the problem themselves without delay, without spin, and without self-interest. The remainder of that money, of the sectoral bargaining fund of 1%, the proportion not needed to resolve new entrants, will be paid out this year to teachers. However, when it comes to local bargaining, TUI will hold firm on ensuring that its results in real, fair and sustainable improvements, not new burdens disguised as efficiencies. We must speak plainly now, though. Excessive workload and work intensification are breaking our profession across every sector of education. Our members repeatedly raise the alarm. There's an ever-increasing workload and never enough time. When time disappears, work intensification takes its place. This is a spiral that is unsustainable. It's becoming a serious health and well-being crisis. Let us call it what it is, teacher burnout. And the burnout is real and is seriously impacting our profession. We are being asked to carry out work that goes far beyond our contracted class contact time, hidden work, invisible labor, which may be deemed essential, but is unrecognized and excessive, unfair and unmanageable. And still we are told, keep going. Just one more initiative, just one more change. We've got to call a halt. We must start individually and collectively saying no. The TUI must move forward with clear, firm policies that give our members back their most precious resource, their time. We have members leaving the profession through stress-related early retirement. Now we have stress-related resignations. Ask yourself, is being a teacher in Ireland now a health and safety risk? The research is now piling up that said this is true. DCU, the Centre for Collaborative Research across teacher education, the message is loud and clear. In its most recent DCU survey and study, 42% of teachers said they are likely to leave the profession due to crippling burnout. 86% reported moderate to high levels of personal burnout. 85% experienced moderate to high levels of work-related burnout. These are not just numbers. These are our colleagues, your friends, maybe even you. On Wednesday, Dr. Anne Short, an independent occupational health expert, will present findings from a study involving 1,800 TUI members, looking at evidence that teaching is now damaging people's health. That is the scale of the crisis we are now facing. The DCU study, which surveyed over 1,000 teachers, reinforces this. Teacher retention and occupational well-being is now at grave risk. No wonder over 400 teaching posts went unfilled last year. We face the same broader social crisis as other professions, a housing crisis, cost of living crisis, but on top of that, we are asked to absorb constant technological change with minimal training and minimal resources, managerialism without mercy, where we are measured but not supported, curriculum overload and endless new initiatives, administrative burdens that steal our time and sap our energy, unrealistic expectations that our role is solving every issue, social, emotional, behavioral, and beyond teaching and learning, which is what we want to do. And we are doing all of this with the largest class sizes in Europe. We are not resistant to change. We are experts in adaptation. But even the most flexible branch will snap if it's bent too far. What we are facing now is not change, it's change overload. So what must we do? The TUI has already set out a vision last year of 2020 vision for post-primary education. No more than 20 contact hours, no more than 20 students per class. This cannot just be a dream. It's a necessary goal if we are to restore our health, our dignity, and most importantly, our profession. We brought this 2020 vision to the recent negotiations with the Department on senior cycle redevelopment. Teachers are time poor, overworked, and feel undervalued. It's up to us to protect our time, to protect our health and our profession. If we don't, who will? So I say to you, clearly and firmly, we must take back our time. Protect your well-being. Say no. So, say no for your health. Say no for your family. And say no so that we can say yes to the parts of this job that actually matter. So let's stop burning out and start burning bright. An aspect of this, of course, is teacher recruitment and retention. The Teachers Union of Ireland has consistently warned over recent years of the growing crisis in teacher recruitment and retention. Numerous imaginative and cost proposals and practical solutions offered by the union have largely been ignored by the Department of Education and the relevant government departments. A key example of this is the long overdue circular or incremental credit for teachers returning from abroad. A simple but essential measure that would support Irish teachers who wish to come home. We still are waiting for this circular. We welcomed targeted training initiatives in specific subjects where teacher shortages were most severe. However, we must also highlight the increasing number of teachers that are now forced in our schools to teach out of field, simply to plug staffing gaps. However, a recent agreement secured by the TUI at the Teachers' Conciliation Council at least ensures that teachers will no longer be penalised in terms of pay for teaching out of field. The substitute teacher shortage continues to cause serious disruption across the sector. The current arrangements where teachers are paid their own personal rate to provide substitution has helped alleviate the worst of the crisis, but it adds further pressure to already overstretched staff. The recruitment and retention crisis is not confined just to second-level education. As the student population grows and progresses into further and higher education, recruitment issues are escalating there too, particularly in the expanding apprenticeship sector. So let's be clear, this is a crisis of the government's own making. It is the inevitable result of forcing the education system to do more with fewer resources. The TUI has made numerous recommendations to alleviate this pressure. Reduce the PME, the Professional Masters in Education, from 2 years to 1, to fast-track new entrants into the profession. Issue a circular letter granting incremental credit for the teachers we want to bring back from overseas. Restore the abolished allowances for the teachers in special education for teaching through Irish and for working on islands. Guarantee full-time jobs from day one. We need to start actively competing with the other jurisdictions who are aggressively recruiting Irish graduates with full-time contracts. Some competing countries offer better pay, better conditions, even better weather. Why would our graduates stay here to face job insecurity, excessive workload, and low pay? They are now abandoning Ireland. But maybe Ireland abandoned them. We acknowledge the allocation of the 500 additional posts again this year in Budget 25. This is long overdue as a step towards restoring some of the posts lost to them during the moratorium. Crucially, it has now been agreed that there is no barrier to advertising and interviewing for these posts in the final term of this year, that's in May, so that the appointees can be in place on the 1st of September and be paid from that date. Schools and ETBs must act, and if they are not, we want to hear about it. The TUI has also called for specific additional posts of responsibility to support the redevelopment of senior cycle, and discussions on these will continue after Easter. And we will deal with that more when we deal with the motion of consequence on Wednesday. However, we do warmly welcome the Minister's decision announced yesterday to gain permanent contracts by way of CODs 1 year earlier. This is following very strong representations by the TUI, and this shows the value of listening to us and to help tackle the teacher supply crisis. We need those other further steps need to be applied. Schools must receive an enhanced allocation because we need full hours. There's no point somebody getting a permanent CID on reduced hours. They must be on full hours. Teachers need clear career pathways and progression opportunities which allow them to stay in the profession, and barriers from returning from home must be removed. The findings of the recent survey by the TUI's Principal and Deputy Principal Association are nevertheless alarming. 75% of schools advertised posts in the last 6 months that attracted no applicants. 20% of schools have been forced to drop subjects due to a lack of teachers. And just 3% of school leaders believe that enough is being done by government to address this issue. This is not sustainable. Our profession is being pushed beyond breaking point, and it's students who ultimately will pay the price. It all began with one member who simply did say no. She said, "The distance I'm being asked to travel is beyond the limited permitted under the Teacher Transfer Collective Agreement." That single act of resistance sparked a movement. One branch, her branch, stood firmly behind her. That branch sought the support of the other branches that then took on one ETB. The union supported their stance and took on their ETB. We balloted for industrial action and challenged the proposed breach of the transfer agreement. This action encouraged other members across the country to examine their own situations, and concerns began surfacing in multiple ETBs, revealing a pattern of disregard for circular letters, for collective agreements. What began as one member taking a stand evolved into a sector-wide reckoning. The TUI, recognizing the scale of the issue, moved to hold a ballot and secured a huge mandate for action. This resulted in a directive to all ETB members to uphold agreed terms and reject any additional duties or transfer that breached our hard-won collective agreements or our negotiated circular letters. This collective stand led to a significant outcome, a newly agreed addendum to the 1999 transfer agreement negotiated between TUI and ETBI, which led to a new collective agreement effectively. A new negotiating forum with ETBI is now set up to resolve these issues. This addendum to the transfer agreement now sets a clear fair transfer limit of 45 kilometres, one that aligns with limits already enjoyed by public servants. One ETB's attempt to disregard boundaries led to the power of one member calling a halt, and in do so, securing protections for all. Let us now, I'm asking you, to acknowledge and applaud that individual and that branch, the Mayo branch, who have shown through courage that you can speak up, and the branch that stood in solidarity with them, and the collective action that followed. Their stance has delivered a lasting change. So I ask you to applaud them. That was well deserved. I would also like to extend congratulations to our 4 TUI endorsed candidates who were successfully elected to the council, the teaching council, 3 from the ETB sector and 1 from the C&C sector. Their presence ensures that teachers' voices will continue to be represented with integrity and strength at the heart of the profession and on the statutory regulatory body. The accelerated redevelopment of the senior cycle is the most urgent and demanding challenge currently facing second-level education. Teachers are being asked to absorb sweeping change to assessment models and methodologies, all the while maintaining their existing teaching commitments. This is creating an unsustainable workload, stretching schools' cultures to a breaking point. If this redevelopment is to succeed, structural supports must be put in place. The Teachers' Union of Ireland is clear. Reduced teacher contact hours, smaller classes are essential. The 2020 model, 20 students per class, 20 teaching hours per week, is the only realistic way forward to ensure meaningful teaching and learning within this new framework. At the same time, the rapid evolution of ICT and the rise of AI bring both opportunities for teachers and serious challenges. This must be strategically integrated into the process, not simply added on, and so they must support rather than burden us as educators. Without these structural changes, the pace of reform threatens to undermine both teacher effectiveness and student outcomes. On Wednesday, the TUI will consider a motion of consequence regarding the talks about senior cycle, into which we have entered in good faith. We have already tabled a substantial set of proposals in a comprehensive written submission to the Minister and to the Department, designed to centre the talks around what truly matters, what our members need, and what our students deserve. The Junior Cycle Implementation Group continues to meet regularly to review and refine aspects of the curriculum, particularly now in the light of the ongoing senior cycle redevelopment. In its submission on senior cycle reform, the TUI has strongly advocated for coherence between the two cycles. Specifically, we have called for adjustments to CBAs, subject specifications, and learning outcomes to ensure better alignment across junior and senior cycle. In January 2024, the TUI submitted a proposal seeking the changes to current junior cycle grading structures, and we are pleased that this morning the Minister has listened to our concerns and has restored a percentage-based grading model that offers greater clarity and more equitable reflections of student behaviour. The fact that only 2% were getting distinctions was an issue raised by this Congress many times. And I think going back to the future, in other words, 15% bands, is actually a step in the right direction. The TUI also remains resolutely committed to the maintenance and enhancement of a unified technological university sector, underpinned by parity in pay and conditions of service and professional respect across all the institutions. I therefore need, and we all need, consistent approaches to be adopted by individual TUs that do not undermine the sectoral integrity. We need a sector. The regional pay variations and unjustified disparities between academic and administrative grades that were proposed by the Department of Further and Higher Education and Innovation and Science, because of statements from the Department of Public Expenditure and Reform, are that case in point, where we are trying to break up the sector. It is damaging and divisive to permit regional discrepancies in pay and conditions within a single national technological higher education sector. Equally concerning is the devaluation of academic leadership roles compared to their administrative counterparts. This is particularly difficult because it's for all the colleges outside Dublin. There is a critical role played by our academic leaders. They ensure the quality and innovation and student success. They are not second tier or second rate. Further concern was the outgoing minister's decision to approve senior posts on his final day in office, while these and related matters were before the Labour Court. This action demonstrated a clear disregard for the TUI as well as for established industrial relation processes. In May 2017, agreement between the TUI and the department was specifically designed to secure sector-wide parity in pay and esteem. Despite this, its full implementation was being obstructed. In response, TUI members were balloted and returned a strong mandate for industrial action. Following this, meaningful engagement took place through the Workplace Relations Commission, where notable progress has been made on key issues. Negotiations are ongoing, with the TUI firmly focused on safeguarding the integrity, equity, and sustainability of the technological university sector at a national level. In a related development, the TUI welcomes the recent agreement with Dundalk Institute of Technology, DKIT, which provides important protection for members' terms and conditions and includes clear guarantees as the sector evolves. This agreement is a model for other institutions as they transition within the TU sector. Although two IoTs still remain outside the TU framework, that's DKIT and IADT, the TUI is clear that any changes agreed through recognised negotiations and fora must apply equally to all members, whether in existing TUs or in the remaining IoTs. The Teachers Union of Ireland remains firmly committed to apprenticeships as a high-quality, respected educational pathway. We have consistently advocated for parity of esteem, while other forms of further and higher education, further and higher education, ensuring apprenticeships are properly resourced, supported and regulated. TUI engages closely with the National Apprenticeship Office and other key stakeholders to monitor developments, with a particular focus on consortium-led models and the issues that are arising due to their promotion. Our priority is to uphold high standards of education, training, and to protect the interests of apprentices, and to ensure fair conditions for educators. Central to our approach is the campaign for sustainable funding through Solace and other agencies. This enables viable programs, industry-related curricula, and appropriate investment in facilities. I want to now acknowledge and congratulate our members who have worked diligently to review apprenticeship curricula, which, while securing a payment for this important work, was a critical achievement and reflected our ongoing commitment to supporting quality apprenticeship and education. I also want to take a moment to reaffirm the TUI's unwavering commitment to our members in Youth Reach and to acknowledge the crucial life-changing work that they do every day. Your work with students who have not found their place maybe in mainstream system, but who thrive under your guidance, your care and your professionalism. You provide not just education, but a pathway forward for these students. While the WRC case continues to move at a frustratingly slow pace, it is important to note that recognition of your work is growing. The department has acknowledged your contribution, and recent inspections reports have strongly affirmed the quality and value of what you deliver. A tangible sign of this came just last week with the welcome application of partial absences circulars, not just for Youth Reach teachers, but also for coordinators and resource staff, all now being treated equally. The TUI will continue to fight to ensure that the respect, resource and rights due to Youth Reach staff are fully realised. Over the past decade, the TUI has seen significant growth. Our membership has expanded, testament to our collective strength, shared values and unwavering dedication to defending and improving the working lives of teachers and lecturers across this country. This growth is something we should be rightly proud of. But while our members have grown, we are also seeing a worrying trend. The number of ununionized staff in our workplace is rising too at an alarming rate, and this poses a real challenge. Recruitment is not just an administrative task, it's a shared priority. Every single one of us has a role to play in encouraging our colleagues, new and experienced, to join a trade union. Never more than when we see what I mentioned earlier in this speech. It amounts to ensuring we remain strong, united, and effective. Without a strong and growing membership base, our ability to advocate effectively will be significantly weakened. We simply cannot afford to let this slide. Recruitment is not just about bringing in new members. It's also about ensuring that members get involved in the life of the union. Despite all the economic pressures, the TUI has held membership subscriptions steady for several years, and last year we implemented a reduction in the membership subscription. We also introduced, just before Christmas, we reimbursed new members across the country, as Anthony said early, and it solves some of the problems we had with the one-year membership. This is a real, tangible support that is the union in action. We also need a continuum of activism. It is said that the mark of a good leader is the leaders that we leave behind. So I ask you, every one of you, to consider, what role can I play in the TUI? Can I stand for election? Can I volunteer for a workplace committee? Can I support those who do? The benefits of activism accrue to members generally, and also to the activists. The skills, knowledge, and confidence you will gain by sitting on a TUI workplace committee, by representing us on the NCCA, by serving on the Teaching Council, or by serving on the TUI National Executive. That experience is unmatched. It will teach you more than any CPD course ever could. It will shape you. It will challenge you. It will equip you with skills and insight you cannot get anywhere else. So I say to you today, there is nothing to fear in stepping forward. Volunteering for your union is not just an act of service, it's an opportunity for personal and professional growth. It is a chance to help shape the future of education in Ireland. Talks regarding the amalgamation with our sister union, the ASTI, are ongoing, and we are reviewing our respective rule books, and the need for a unified voice has never been more urgent. The TUI undertook an ambitious and forward-thinking project, the development of a new membership relationship management system, or MRM. This initiative was born from a clear and urgent vision to modernise how we support and communicate with our members and deliver services to our members. Since then, we have made remarkable progress. We have upgraded all essential hardware across the organisation. A state-of-the-art phone system capable of integrating with the MRM has been installed. We have moved our critical infrastructure to the cloud. I still don't know what that means, but we're definitely up there. Significantly, I just know that it costs a lot of money. Significantly enhanced our cybersecurity protocols, also costs a lot of money. Put in place robust support systems. Now with software development complete and testing begun, we are on track to launch our new MRM system in September 2025. And this will mark a transformative step for TUI, ensuring better efficiency and enhanced security, greatly improved access to members, and to the vital service we provide. It's a project rooted in our commitment to continuous improvement and one that will serve the union and its members well into the future. This year, as in every year, your executive committee has demonstrated exceptional commitment and integrity in serving the members of this union. Faced with complex issues, evolving challenges, they have responded with determination, insight, and an unwavering focus on what matters most to you, the members of TUI. Every decision has been carefully considered, debated, always with the collective welfare of the membership at its core. I want to take this opportunity and a moment to pay special tribute to our outgoing president, David Waters, as he concludes his term. David's leadership has been steadfast and principled, and his service to the union has been nothing short of outstanding. Starting from being a new entrant and rising right to the top of the union, he has been a credit to his branch, his family, and the union in all the talks he's been involved in. So I'd like to just thank you. I would also like to acknowledge each and every member of the Executive Committee. Much of their work happens behind the scenes, looking at policies, scrutinising proposals, and shaping the decisions that impact us. They also have to listen to me an awful lot more than you have to, which is hard in itself. Their dedication and their diligence, their belief in the values of this union are invaluable, and we all owe them gratitude. So I'd like to thank them. I'd also like to thank head office staff for this past year. We have had welcome stability in head office this year following a period of transition marked by retirements in 2024. And with little staff turnover since, we have seen continuity, experience and commitment flourish, bringing strength and consistency to the union's day-to-day operation. Our head office staff are the unsung heroes of the TUI. Quietly, diligently, they work long hours behind the scenes to ensure that every member receives the support and protection and guidance they need. Whether it's providing advice, managing complex industrial relations issues, or implementing new systems to better serve you, their dedication is nothing short of remarkable. And it's not just about maintaining operations, it's about evolving them. Head Office continues to adapt to meet the changing needs of our membership through the integration of modern technologies and the enhancement of internal systems, and a commitment to constant professional excellence. Our team ensures that the union is equipped not just for today, but to the future. So to every member of Head Office staff, I say thank you. Thank you for your diligence, your expertise, and your unwavering commitment to the TUI. The executive has three main subcommittees: the Retired Members Association, the Principal and Deputies Association, and the Adult Education Organisers Association. Our union is not only strengthened by its central leadership structures, but also by the insight and experience that they bring from sectoral expertise in dedicated subcommittees. I want to take this opportunity to express our deep gratitude to these three groups whose contributions continue to enrich the work of the TUI. The RMA continues to be a vital and valued part of the TUI family. Their commitment to supporting both retired members and those approaching retirement ensures the wisdom and experience remain central to our collective voice. Their presence reminds us that retirement does not mark the end of service, but a new chapter of continued contribution to the union. If you're retiring this year, please join the RMA. The PDA, the Principal and Deputy, brings a crucial perspective from school leadership, providing thoughtful insight into the rapidly evolving landscape of post-primary education. At a time of significant reform and increasing pressure on schools, their voice helps us to ensure our policies remain balanced, grounded, and fully reflective of the realities of members face in leadership roles. Likewise, the AEOA's expertise in the further and adult education sectors help shape our union's response to this critical area. Their guidance enables us to advocate effectively for members working in diverse and dynamic educational environments, ensuring their challenges and achievement are fully recognised. To members of the RMA, PDA and AEO, thank you for your commitment, your expertise and your ongoing support, your contributions you make to the TUI, and this makes the TUI stronger, wiser and a more representative organisation. At the very heart of the TUI, beating strong and steady, are you, our branch officers, our activists, our delegates to Congress. You are the first face of the union for many of our members. You are their listeners, their supporters, their advocates, and often their lifeline when challenges arise. It is through your energy, your passion, and your belief in collective action that this union continues to thrive at grassroots. You do not just represent members, you empower our members. You build solidarity, you keep the spirit of trade unionism alive in every school, college, and workplace across the country. Your work is often unseen. It is done in the evenings, between classes, on weekends, in your own time with quiet determination. But let me say clearly, it is seen by us, it's valued by us, and it's irreplaceable. The strength of the TUI has always been grounded in its members, but it is your continued effort that shapes that strength into something that's truly powerful, a voice that unifies, that builds us with resolution and is impossible to ignore. From the bottom of my heart, I thank you. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your courage. Thank you for your unshakable commitment to your colleagues and to our union. As we started Congress this past year, we have mourned the loss of valued colleagues and friends who dedicated their lives to serving the TUI at both local and national level. Their contributions helped shape this union, and their legacy will not be forgotten. We extend our deepest sympathy to their families, friends, and colleagues. And we have taken that moment to recognize that. For those who are retiring in 2024 or planning to retire, now that we've got all those pay rises and the lump sum is increased, we wish you well in your retirement and don't forget you. And we also like to thank you for your contributions in strengthening the union, and we wish you a long and happy retirement. So, colleagues, I'm now coming to the end. As General Secretary, I'm proud to report that the financial position of the Union remains robust, as detailed in the annual accounts. In January 2024, we delivered a meaningful reduction in the cost of membership, clear and practical reflection of our commitment to delivering value for our members. But this report is about more than just numbers. It reflects the work we have done together, the direction we are setting, and the choices we are making. The management of risk, the pursuit of opportunities, and the setting of priorities. These are not abstract ideas. They are real responsibilities, and they lie in your hands, the delegates at this Congress. The TUI is in a very strong position, financially, operationally, and strategically. We face the future not with hesitation, but with confidence, resolve, and unity of purpose. It is therefore my great privilege as your General Secretary to present and recommend to you this annual report to Congress. It's not just a record of what has been done, it's a foundation of what comes next. Thank you.